We have breaking news off the East Coast to tell you about as well. A short time ago, the Canadian Coast Guard pulled a third body from the water and is searching for a lone fisherman still missing. The search is happening off the south coast of Newfoundland. 4 men and their boat went missing after leaving the town of St. Lawrence shortly after midnight on Sunday to fish crab. Joining me now with more is the CBC's Chris O'Neill-Yates live in St. John's. So Chris, what's the latest on the search?
Well, as you said, Andrew, they had been searching for 4 men who went fishing in a crab boat called the Sarah Ann about midnight on Sunday night. They were supposed to return at 8 o'clock yesterday, and when they didn't return, the Coast Guard was notified, and they tried to reach the vessel unsuccessfully. Whatever happened, the Coast Guard says probably happened quite quickly. So right now what we know is that 3 of the fishermen aboard the Sarah Ann have been taken from the water near St. Lawrence, where the search is ongoing, and they are still looking for the body of 1 man. Just a short time ago, they had said it was not a recovery mission. It was still a rescue mission, but, you know, that obviously has changed now because 3 of the people aboard the vessel were alive. The conditions in the water were very good, according to Coast Guard, for the search, calm, and the weather was good, so that probably is why they have been able to recover 3 of the 4 fishermen. But nevertheless, you know, when you go out fishing in small boats off Newfoundland, weather can change. We don't know what the weather was like last night or what the conditions were that they were facing. So, you know, a very sad story in a community that's not, it's one that, you know, has seen a tremendous amount of illness and loss with the mine. It's got a history there of fishing and mining, so this will hit hard in a community of about 1,200 people.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, unfortunately, it's not all that often that we have people die at sea from fishing. Of course it happens, but, you know, it doesn't happen all that often. What do we know? Do we know anything yet about what happened on board that fishing boat?
No, and you know, that may be something that we may not know at all. I did see comments on social media from somebody who had been at sea at the same time, and they got back to port. Whatever delayed this vessel, whether it was catching its quota not as quickly, whatever the case might be, you know, when these things happen, if it were an aircraft, you have a black box. You can put together the story of what happened. But, you know, in this case, when the Coast Guard tried to make contact, that very first initial contact after the vessel was reported overdue, they weren't able to reach the communication system of the Sarah Ann. So what happened here is a mystery. There may be able to be some pieces put together, but in these cases, it's often, you know, it's often weather related, whether it was an issue with the vessel, all of these things. You know, it's difficult to say at this particular time. The community will be reeling. I heard these fishermen come from all over Placentia Bay. That is you know, quite a well-known fishing area on the south coast of Newfoundland. And as well, you know, the crab season got off to a little bit of a late start this year because of COVID-19. Fishing boats being, you know, quite small had to make provisions for people to be able to fish safely. And there was, you know, a bit of a battle over the price of fish this year, the price of crabs. So it was a season that had a tumultuous start, but you know, certainly we know that fishing is the most dangerous occupation in the world, according to some, and if not the most dangerous, it certainly is among them. But every time something like this happens in a seafaring province like Newfoundland and Labrador, it hits home because we're a small population. People know each other. So this grief at this time will be, you know, particularly bad for the families, not just the loss, but the inability to be able to grieve the way we normally do it during now these COVID-19 times.
All right. Chris, thank you. That is the CBC's Chris O'Neill-Yates live in St. John's.